All right, guys. Well, look, obviously, a big warm welcome. We are now officially recording for the replay purposes afterwards, but the resource here that we have made available to you in the chat is the one that we're going to walk through. We're going to go for about an hour or so, and at the end, we also will look at questions of yours. But in the meantime, feel free to always put a question or a comment in the chat bar, just so that we can get back to them at the point where we've got them. Because obviously we want to get through a lot in an hour's time. I know that you're all busy and I want to let you go, but also give you the tools required to, to take it to the next level. So with that being said, if you could just briefly test the chat bar with me and just say what suburb you are joining in from in the chat bar, then at least I can see that it's all working, and you can then also easily add your questions or your comments later on as we go through the slides. So I see the first few are in here. We see Theberton, we got Adelaide. I guess the tech issue was not that. Melbourne, Norwood, awesome. Melbourne, Walkerville, fantastic. Awesome. That works well. Fantastic. All right, let's just jump into it right away, guys. So 5 key strategies to grow your business. And this is something that you're going to get a lot of value from. Let's have a look. So obviously you got the resource there. It also talks about the success community where you can hang out together, network with each other, potentially help each other or do business with each other, but definitely learn and thrive. The first one here is the foundation strategy. Some of this may be very obvious to you, but look for the seeds of gold that aren't. First things first. The foundation of a great business is to know why you're in it, what you're looking for, so that the business can give you what you want. Because if you go back to the first question here, is your business giving you what you want right now? That is the most important question. I know a lot of you guys might be super busy, but is it paying off for you? Is it making you the money that you want? Or are you actually also getting the time you want? Do you got the freedom you want? Can you take time off easily without everything breaking down? It's that sort of question. So I really want to first come in from that angle, because you started a business or you're working in a business, that can be great. So if it's not great there yet, let's make it great. That's the angle that we're coming from. So first things first, the types of motivation, and please look for the ones that right now you can do something with, clarify some things for you. Many businesses get started because people see an opportunity to be their own boss and make money. Others look for freedom. Others look for power, because obviously as you grow a business, you can basically build a team and boss people around and all of that sort of stuff. Or you might be in it because you see an opportunity to make a difference out there. Now, out of all those 4 motivations, from a client's perspective and from a business growth perspective, which one do you think is going to be the biggest one for you to tune in with again and build your story around? Let me know in the chat bar. Would it be money, freedom, power, or impact? So let's have a quick look at the chat. Simon says impact. Jason says impact. Graham says impact. Beautiful. So we're on the same page here. People are always prepared to pay good money for something that changes their lives for the better. And so we're not looking for business improvements. Ideally speaking, you're looking to create a dent in their life or in their business. And the more we do, the easier you're going to tap into a captive audience that is going to be willing to pay you money. The second point here, and of course, you want to really make sure that your whole story, the way you engage with people, the way you say what excites you, why you're doing your business, that you tell people about that, because that is itself already a grain of gold for people to connect with and resonate with and value and appreciate about you. So does your marketing, does that really make that loud and clear? Does your business card potentially show that? Does your website show that? Does your whole engagement when you're working with prospects and clients, does that really ooze out of that? It's important that you get that right. The second thing is the type of business. Many of you on this very call right now are specialists. You guys are good at something you do. You love what you do, and therefore you created a business around you that allowed you to do it. Other people, they have a business that is designed to become a lifestyle business. Once again, what's important to you? Do you want to do a lot of the stuff? Or do you want to have a business that kind of can work really well for you, that creates you the freedom, the time, and gives you the money that you want. And the last type of business is a high performance business, a business that really is designed for you and all of your team members to basically punch above your weight and do stuff that nobody else in your industry is doing. Which one of those is yours? Just clarify that for yourself. In terms of the business owners, there's about 4 of them that you can see here. The practitioner, they are the knowledgeable experts and they like doing the work. You work hard, not necessarily work smart. That is one style. The second one is the manager. They say, let me get a team and let them do the work, and I manage them. The third one is the leaders. They got a big vision, an aspiration. They see the future and they're working towards that. And they are here to revolutionize an industry, an aspect of the world. And there's obviously something that they're really working hard towards. And then you got the serial entrepreneurs. Their main thing is about building a business from scratch, selling it all out, and moving on to the next thing. And they do it time and time and time again. Once again, what type of business owners are you? Because you need to know what your business is made of, what it is based on, because these are your foundations. Next one, the growth strategy. I see a lot of businesses that are very traditional businesses and they look for referrals. The second one is traditional businesses that are relying on business acquisitions, meaning in terms to grow, they're thinking of what other competitor can I buy out and amalgamate, or what book can I buy to grow my business with. These are very traditional ways on growing a business. The other one is a business relying on traditional media. And that means, of course, print, radio, magazines, advertising, and the likes. Very, very traditional and very hard to measure at times what the impact is. And then you got these 2 other ones that are modern businesses relying on strategic business development activities or digital marketing, or even both. I'd like you to see where you sit right now and ask yourself, is this really where I should be or could be? And where are you going to get the best bang for buck? Because sometimes you might do a certain thing right now and realize that what you've been doing is not really paying off. And therefore, it's potentially time to change tack. Yeah. Once again, answer that one for yourself. Then, of course, the types of clients, you see that you can answer that later on for yourself. I'm just zooming in on a few things here that might be relevant. Here's another one, pricing models. Again, as part of your foundational strategy. We see that, of course, cash is king. Cash, plenty of it, allows you to grow and scale. Cash that is sometimes with bottlenecks causes problems in businesses. And cash is king. Cash flow is king. Therefore, based on your pricing model, where are you at now? Is it that you're doing a lot of single transactions, which, by the way, is very hard to maintain because you constantly need to chase the next business? Is it that you're working with payment plans whereby people pay you over a longer period of time, and where you as the business owner or the business itself might be paying bank for your clients and it's costing you money? Or probably smarter, do you have a recurring sort of business model where your cash flow is recurring, you know exactly what's coming in, you know exactly what's going out, and therefore you can plan better accordingly? That's your pricing models. We're going to talk about that in a moment a little bit more. Next one, terms. I think you're going to really like this one because I see sometimes that people really shoot themselves in the foot when they get their terms not right. And what I mean by that is deliver first, pay later. I sometimes see people coming in and they say, let me just first do the work. I'll pay the goods. I'll pay the software. We do the work. And then when we're done, you pay us. That's probably not a smart business model, right? So having you play bank for somebody that might pay you or won't pay you, and then you have to kind of play chasey, is not a good idea. So if you're there, I would highly recommend you revisit that. The second one, sometimes I see people use deposits and then stage payments for rollout. Could work. Prepayment in full. That's an interesting one, especially for the solution providers around you. You will find that at times, especially if you want to get a lot of chunky business in, and make it easy for you and your team to not having to chase people, because chasing people for money, it's not fun to do, first of all, and it wastes time, precious time. So what if you could incentivize your clients that have the cash resources to pay them like software companies ask you to pay your whole subscription for the full year in advance? What if you could do that and have more people do that? It would basically build more cash reserves and allow you to, do that only with a certain number of them, but make sure that you get rid of chasing people for money and make it easy for you. Direct debit. I know that Jason and the team definitely do direct debits on credit cards and whatnot as a subscription and the likes. Probably a good idea. It's automated. You don't have to think about it. And if it goes pear-shaped, you got automation to kind of remind people to fill it out. And then, of course, your direct credit card charges. Once again, in our business, we always incentivize consulting clients to pay upfront in advance and save 10 to 20% as opposed to paying on a payment plan. Now, once again, imagine now that you don't have this in place yet and you sometimes play bank. Think about how you could design that process, just that little foundation, smarter to make the running of your business easier. And I hold my case there. If you've got a question on it, I think that one is a really important one to get right. We can talk about it later. But then also the other one, the pricing strategy. We all know the model of freemium. Freemium means you give people a free try, after which they can upgrade and become a paid client. Are you using that in your business? Yes, no, would it be good? Would it be bad? That's obviously up to you to decide. Try before you buy, kind of similar idea. Cheapest guaranteed. That is a strategy that some people use. It might have its merit, but I am yet to find still a business that can really maintain being the cheapest and delivering good service and the likes with very little margin. I personally am not really big in favor, but once again, you might have found a way to do it. If that is for you and it works, great. Pay as you go and value for money. Most people that I know that work like you guys in a service-based model would typically be good at positioning themselves, not the cheapest, charge a fair rate, and make sure the value is clearly articulated and the client can see it. Now, what do I mean by that? You and I might take our services and products for granted and think, oh, they're great and the clients can see it. But sometimes you got to check in with the client and say, hey, what do you really value about our service? Because sometimes what you think it is and what they see is very different. And by the way, if your marketing doesn't relate to what they see as valuable, because you just go with what you think it is, you might really miss the boat and have a few people not coming on board because they can't see the value the way they are supposed to see it. If only you would change your style and your pitch, so to speak. So make sure that you constantly check in with your clients and understand why they are buying, or the prospects that aren't buying, why they aren't buying from you. Doing that survey is really valuable. We've done it a few months ago. And like I said, I was surprised by some of the answers because I didn't see it coming. But it only was when I asked the question that we got the data. With the data, we can work. You can make informed decisions when you've got good information from your target market. Okay, premium and niche marketing or niche pricing strategies are obviously also good. Let's see. I'm going to talk a little bit about something that sometimes is a little bit controversial, and I hope you guys are okay with this. In your team, you yourself included, as a business owner or a coach or a consultant or whatever you might consider yourself as, I'd like you to answer honestly for yourself. And please, I'd like to even you to share it in the chat bar. If you were to be honest with yourself, for you and your team, are you guys mainly order takers, meaning you pick up the low-hanging fruit that falls in your lap? Or are you nurturers, meaning you don't really like chasing for new business, but you really like continuing working with the same people once you started? That's a nurturer. Then you could also be a hunter-gatherer, where you love more the opposite, which is finding new business, but you don't really like to keep working with the same people. You just love the hunt and closing deals. Or would you say that you guys are elite sales professionals, meaning you are at the top 10, 5, if not 1% in your industry? Please let us know in the chat bar where you think you sit along with your team, because this is really what your whole business is going to be founded on. Who you've got to talk to people and do business with them. Because it will really define your growth strategy. If you got people that are a lot of nurturers, well, looking for a lot of networking ain't going to cut it, if that makes sense. Let's have a look. Jason says no idea. Okay, fair. Happy that you're honest. First to aiming to be elite. Mario, interesting. Okay. So excellent. Okay. Michael says also nurturers and a bit of order takers. Yes. Interesting. Because now you see that we've got a bit of differences here. And Graham says trying to be both, enjoy sales and maintaining clients. So both hunter-gatherers as well as nurturers. Good stuff. All right. Andrew, nurture. Yeah. Okay. I feel like I'm several of the options in all of the slide. Okay. Cool. Well, obviously, when push comes to shove, you'll see that you're going to revert to either one more so than another. That is probably your most dominant style. Yeah, of course, you're going to try to nurture. If your business revolves around a subscription, you want to make sure you do it right. But if you're really a hunter, you probably would do well by having somebody else do the nurturing for you and you doing the hunting, if that's really what lights you up. The opposite way around, if you are the nurturer, you always will play to your strengths and you will easily procrastinate on the things that you're not really feeling the vibe of. So the more you start creating your own job role and the role of your team around the things that they really feel strongly about and that deploys their strengths, the easier you're going to see that growth is going to happen for you. Yeah. For example, I love both hunting and I do like nurturing, but really, when I'm honest with myself, I love the hunting mostly. I love that a lot, right? I just do it. Like, I love networking. I love going out and I love sitting down with people that know that I have a problem that I can fix, right? But then of course the nurturing helps me to maintain a good business. So I'll do it too. But if I have two things to do, if I have only 5 minutes left of the day and I can choose between the two, guess which one I'm going to do first? I'm going to do the hunting first and then the nurturing. It's just me being honest with myself. And it's important that you are too, because that's how your whole business will start building itself around you in a way that suits you and will give you what you want. I'm going to check in one more time here with that. I actually enjoy both. Fantastic. And my team has a blend. Good. Very good. Okay. How are we going so far, guys? Does it make sense? Getting something from this? Yeah? Good stuff. End game. Really important for you guys as business owners. There's 4 different things that you can create a business with, knowing the end in mind. Now, I know that a lot of people start a business not really thinking of ever selling out or, thinking of what's next. They just started because they just wanted to start, right? It's important, though, that you get clear about, well, what is my end game? Is it, number one, that you want to keep until working in that business until retirement? Yeah, very often because you have to pay the bills and whatnot. That's probably not a great strategy to have in mind. The second one, owner develops a self-managed business and becomes chairman eventually of a bigger business. It's another one. Third, owner passes the business over to kids. So you got something that is an asset, you can pass it over, or you sell out and you do with your money whatever you like. Think about it. Where ultimately do you want to take this thing down the track if you run the business? Because if you're not clear about it, you might automatically then revert back to number one, which is where you keep working in the business because you have to, not because you want to. Client strategy now. Anytime, by the way, you got a question, feel free to pop it in the chat. We'll definitely also spend some time at the end for that. We're going to just keep rolling just because of time sake. Client strategy. All the BNI people on this call, they know that anyone doesn't quite cut it, right? So who is your client? Your chances is that you want to be really laser sharp and focused, and you know exactly who your clients are. If not, take it to bullet point number 3, which is avatar. Avatar thinking is where you can talk so vividly and in such a relatable manner about who your ideal client is, that if you happen to, have a pre-recorded video where you talk about your ideal client, that this person who is like that can say easily, oh my God, you get me. I need what you've got, even though you haven't even spoken about your solution yet, because they feel so personally addressed. These are the 3 stages. One is where you try to be everything for everyone, like anyone I can help, anybody. 2 says, I'm pretty niche down. I know who my clients are. I'm specific about it. Yeah. 3 takes it a whole level higher. Avatar. I've got 3 main avatars. One avatar is the corporate executive in a mid-sized company that has, 5 years in the role, is highly educated, and tends to always find issues with staff engagement. The more specific you can describe the situation of that person, the easier it is you can have all your marketing, all your speak, all your PDFs, your resources speak the right language to make these people say, I love what you're talking about. I want to do business with you, long even before talking shop. Obviously, out of the 3, avatar thinking is the most powerful one. Mindset. This is again where I'd like you to be honest with yourself. Reactive versus proactive. Reactive mindset with a client strategy is coming from the angle of, let the people come to me. I'm good at what I do. Let my reputation speak for itself, and people should just knock my door and kiss my feet. As a way of saying. That is very reactive. That's basically waiting for people to come to you. Waiting is not creating. Waiting is reactive. Proactive, though, is about, it's my job, or you see it as your mindset. You and your team say, it's our job to get out in the market. It's our job to capture the attention of the right people. It's our job to take the actions to show people that we are the number 1 in our game, and there is nobody that can do what we can do for them. It's our job. Grant Cardone says, success is my duty and obligation. That's the angle that this one is coming from. Proactive mindset. Now, answer for yourself, where are you guys at? Because if you are in the reactive one, really important, you got to shape out of that one, because that one will be holding you guys back. Now, where? This is where your client strategy consists in, well, where are we going to spend our time to find more clients? Is it traditional places? Are we going to face-to-face places where we can meet and greet? Or are we also going to network and reach out to people in modern places that, for example, even include things like Facebook groups or the success community that you guys are part of, or any other places where you basically, in a digital way, reach out to people, not just the traditional ways. How is then the next question. How are you going to start dealing with these people? Transactional is one way, recurring is another, growth is another, and an integrated offering is probably a very attractive one. The first one is you're just looking to do business once. Second one is you're looking to do business consistently. The next one is growth, as in you're looking for high chunky profit deals, but also with ongoing competitive income that pays the bills. I know that, for example, real estate businesses really thrive when they have both the property management that pays the recurring, as well as the listings for sales that gives them the big chunky jobs. And that, the two combined, tends to be a good business, right? So again, it's about you finding like, what is my sweet spot? Where can we shape the business in a better way so that it really will help us to take it to the next level? And the integrated offering is an interesting concept, because let's just say that you have come to the point where you got a clear avatar. And typically most businesses have only one, two, or three avatars that they know is an ideal client. It's a certain mindset, it's a certain demographic, it's a certain type of business, it's a certain type of problem they have. All of these sorts of factors allow you to create your avatars and speak their language. Let's just say now that you got one, all right? Let's just say that it's one particular avatar that you're working with, and you got a product or a service on offer for them. The question is, how can you show these people this one avatar, your key ideal client? How can you not just work for them for a year or 6 months or once off or do 2 deals with them, but keep working with them over time, because you have a gradual staircase of successive products and services that are ideally designed for them. So for example, they might start on a subscription of some kind. That is the basic level. Then these people value other things that aren't included, that you want to give them access to, and they're prepared to pay more for it. What does it look like? What are their needs and wants? And what are sometimes the things that none of the people in the industry right now are catering for? Because if you make that available to them, chances are that they want to take you up on it as well, in addition to what they did earlier. So in my business, we have, for example, 2 courses: Communication Mastery, Business Development Accelerator at the next level. And then after that, people can come into, for example, more advanced retreats for entrepreneurs and creators, for example, or other, let's say, more intimate style mastermind groups. That's a tier level. Like, people can start somewhere and then gradually move up the ranks. And of course, you can imagine you start at a smaller budget, but you gradually can spend more and more, or people can pay you more and more as they climb the ladder. You give more intimate stuff, more advanced stuff, more meaningful stuff, more impactful stuff to the people that gradually climb up the ladder. You want to start somewhere and you grow together with them over time. That is what an integrated offering looks like. It's steps by step. Question is, does your business right now cater for that? Because if not, you're going to be missing out on opportunities, because you need to have stuff to keep working with the same people so that you can nurture them well and keep, let's say, growing together. All right, let's have a look at the next one here. Why? We all have seen Simon Sinek. Start with why. Yeah, from a client perspective, what is their why? Why do they want to work with somebody like you? What is typically their why? Sometimes we might forget about it because sometimes we live too much in our own little world. So always keep going back to their why. Equally, make sure that as your why has an overlap and a parallel, that you constantly remind your clients about your why too, because they will build bridges and it will just show you how well you're made for each other by constantly reiterating your passion and why you are doing this. What's your difference making? You know, it's important that you don't take their why or yours for granted. That's my point. Next one here, and let's actually see the chat bar here. That would be your model, Bram. Yes, indeed, that is good model. Okay, thank you. Keeping an eye on the chat, as you can see. The next one is the marketing strategy. You got your foundation strategy now covered. You got your client strategy covered. Now it's marketing. Certain people that I see are going quickly for the kill. They do it both online and they do it offline. As in, they go to a networking function. Speed dating is the way they do it. The idea, like a good day, is like getting as much cards from other people and handing out a ton of cards to other people. And they're looking for a quick sale. They go in with the mindset of, let's just go and transact. Let's just go and do business. Now, the BNI people, you know that obviously doesn't work, right? So you obviously want to do another one. But some people go in with it, whether they are mindful of it or not. I personally would say it doesn't work. Most people will really shy away from it. And for everyone who's done my programs like Communication Mastery, you will know that quick for the kill is only about 18% of Australians that have that sort of style. So if you're meeting 100 people, you might find 18 potential takers for that style, but 82 of them out of 100 won't like it. So make sure that you're know how to read your clients so that you can treat them in a way that suits them, because with some people it might work and with others it will backfire. The other one, the marketing style, can also be a slow death. I call it jokingly that, because there's some people that are so scared of making an offer so that people could say either yes or no to, and they're so scared of potentially people so-called rejecting them, even though they're only saying no to an offer at that time. So if you're very wary, you and your team, if you're sometimes uncomfortable about asking for the business or making an offer to a client, you're basically on this bandwagon of a slow death. Yeah. And it's just stare it in the face, guys. It's important that you come to terms with where you're at, because this might give you a lever to get yourself out of trouble. A slow death ain't going to cut it. Because typically people will do business with others that are convincing, that are confident about their ability to make a difference, and that, yes, also take pride in asking for the business and chase it up if people haven't made a decision yet. Follow up and follow through is where the difference is. Follow through means you take people from the start to the end, and the end means they make a decision whether or not they're going to get ahead with your service or product. A smart campaign is probably an interesting one. Smart campaigns offline and online means that you strategically create your schedule to campaign a specific product or service at any given point in time. That means that you're not trying to sell everything simultaneously. You zoom in on one key thing at that point in time. I'll give you an example. If you're, for example, doing, I'm thinking of Jason now, you with your team. Let's just say that you got a, it's been summer, but in the lead up to summer, I see sometimes PTs say something around the lines of, get in shape before summer, or get your bikini body, or whatever, that sort of stuff. That is very clearly an offering to appeal to a certain style buyer at a certain point in time. Therefore, it's sensitive in time. It's potentially scarce because you only got limited capacity to service. And therefore, you create wide incentives for people to make a decision now and not delay and defer until next year. Smart campaigns help you do that. You focus on one thing in a certain compact frame of time, and then you basically create a whole campaign around that. It's almost like a politician that wants to be elected. They got a whole schedule with massive action going into that one thing, so that when the time is right, meaning election day, they get all the votes in their favor. It's the same idea. So the question is, how well do you campaign right now? Or are you still trying to please everything with everything all the time? My suggestion would be that focus and niching down is going to beat any time trying to be everything for everyone all the time, right? So smart campaigning is definitely what we do in our business. For example, our programs, they only open up at certain times of the year, which means for the rest of the time, the doors are shut. That is one way that we do that in our business. So therefore, we can campaign the programs, and then we work with our clients to get the results they want, after which we then open up again for the next cohort of people. Next one is business model strategy. I love income. What about you guys? I love multiple streams of income. And I know that Simon loves working smart rather than hard. So where possible, how can your business cater for multiple income streams? Through products. If you are in a service-based business model, make sure you get products, because products are easy to scale, especially if the products are digital. They're high profit, high margin, and easy to deliver and manage, as opposed to buying stock, having stock sit on shelves and potentially decay over time, and your money is burning together with it. Like, for example, if you were to have Clothes, for example, we've been in the clothes business with my family overseas. Oh my goodness, so much money sitting there on shelves and in boxes. Not a good business model, in my view, unless you can keep pumping it out and make the money on it. Subscriptions. How can you involve software, even if the software isn't yours and you just become a referrer that you get kickbacks for, and it's part of your business model? Like, you know, Jason, I hope that you guys get some sort of kickback from the software you guys are using, because if you're getting 100 people or 1,000 people on it at 20, 30, 40% commissions for software, mate, that in itself is a huge payout, and it's guaranteed to come in every, you know, whatever day of the month. The next one is franchise fees. At some point in time, your business might be ripe for this sort of thing. We're definitely also looking into it, although we don't want to see it as a franchise, but you can basically clone yourself rather than trying to do everything and revolutionize the world with your own team. You can basically package up a success formula that's working for you guys and that you got results with, and offer it other people to give a shortcut to success and get paid for it. The next one, rentals. How could you use rentals in your business model? In our business, you know, with our co-working space, that's what we do. We basically have an office for ourselves and we're making other office space available, and therefore we can get rent too that way. Royalties. When you have IP and you protect it, you put copyrights in place and all that sort, and patents and all of that, you can sell the IP in its own. Whether you sell the business or keep it, you could sell some of your IP and again, get royalties for that. Interests. What if you, back to the business model, the way that you get paid? Let's just say that here and there, you offer payment terms to your clients and you pay bank for them. Are you getting paid for that now? Are you charging interests for your generosity to pay for a product or service in advance and help your clients to pay it over time? And as you do so, you get an extra margin for managing all that and making that available. If you don't, you're missing out on a potential revenue stream here. I definitely do it in my business. Government funding. What about affiliate commissions? What about working with other people in a collaborative business where you can help each other? And that could be outside of BNI, because I know, of course, in BNI, there's a rule that prohibits this. But let's just say that you have a business referrer out there and you can send business each other's way and you still work with integrity and you're okay to get paid. There's opportunities there too. What about success bonuses? I know consultants in my space that if they achieve a certain target, they have pre-agreed with a client that they get a certain bonus in financial terms when they hit the target with the client. Could you do such a thing as well? You know? Therefore, you're both in it to win it. You both got skin in the game. You both have a vested interest to get on the other side and get the results the client is after. It makes you then fully committed and both accountable. So these are some of your business model foundations there. I definitely want to again encourage for those people that are here on service-based business models, make sure you include products and services, because trading more than just time for money. If you're trading time for money only, it ain't scalable. As a PT, you can do business groups, you can do subscriptions, you can do courses that are pre-recorded or that are hybrid with lives, all of that sort of stuff. You can create products, digital or physical, that you can also add on and therefore make more money with the same people. Offer your own physical or digital products and on-sell other people's physical or digital products. It all is part of the equation. The question is, do you have these resources available and are you campaigning them well? You can include online and offline for marketing, sales, and delivery. And of course, for the people like Michael on this call who are IT people, technology is the way to go. So are you really using the right systems, the right softwares? There's so many out there to make your life and your team's life easier, where you can focus more on the things that matter, and all the nitty-gritty stuff, especially the recurring stuff. Can you potentially automate it or outsource it or delegate it in that order, right? Saving time with automation, minimizing mistakes, avoiding double handling, creating scalable process. All of that is possible with the right systems in place. I'll give you an example. One of my friends, he has a virtual assistant in Philippines that builds connections on LinkedIn with his avatar, which is financial planners. They've done that for years and years. Actually, Jason, you know exactly who I talk about because he's your cousin or uncle, sorry. And he's been doing that for years and years. Now, if I think about like the amount of money that it must have cost him to get to 15,000 connections now, I'm adding a serious business budget, and it's taken years to get there. Decent size, it's taken years. Compare that now to some automation that we have put in our business in place. In 50 days, I have 1,000 more connections on LinkedIn, and I'm having about 85 conversations happening while using automation in the background, qualifying people, seeing like who we can potentially do business with, giving value to them along the way, nurturing them. And I don't have to even speak to them until the moment in time when they say, you know what, Bram, I want to talk to you directly. This is what good systems can do for you. So the question is, how good are your systems? How good are you have the automation in place? And importantly, it's like mobile phones. These mobile phones are basically mini computers in our hand. Some of us only use it for emails, Facebook, making pictures and making phone calls. There's so much more you can do with it. So your current systems, is it possible that using them only at 5% capacity? Because most of the software packages that I'm familiar with have a user cut-through rate of about 5 to 10%, meaning it's underutilized 90% of the time. So sometimes it just makes sense to spend some time and potentially engage someone to help you set it all up once and maybe tweak it here and there so that it keeps working in the background for you and doing the hard work. Then you also, of course, minimize mistakes, avoid double handling. You create scalable processes that you potentially can then also package up and sell to somebody else, because that could be a part of your franchise as well. If it works for you, it will work for someone else. People love shortcuts. People like things that are easy and save time and make a ton of money. So if you can make it work for you, you can make it work for someone else. Are you using social media again the way you want it? Are you potentially replacing people in very basic stuff? Because you don't have to pay people an hourly wage for tedious stuff that you can automate, right? And campaigning. Are you campaigning 24/7? Because how cool is it if you see that money is coming in from somebody that you never got to talk to, who you never met, or that an inquiry is coming in, a booking is in your diary, all of that sort of stuff, because the software is doing its work for you, and it's basically becoming a marketer and a seller for you, therefore extending your team. Last but not least, and then we're going to go into Q&A, guys. So you're going really well. Are we good so far? Are you learning something? Yeah? Did you find a few things that help you in your business so far? Yeah? Cool stuff. The growth strategy, the last one here, is about the following. So there's a few things that we're touching on here. Organic growth. Organic growth is, of course, what most people feel very comfortable with, right? It's about going to networking functions. It's hosting events of your own. It's about sending newsletters out to your subscribers. It's about connecting via LinkedIn after you met each other, and you just basically manually go in there and say, hey, it was nice to meet you. I appreciate us connecting. It could be you just, taking the phone, making a phone call to somebody and asking them for a catch up. It could be you positioning yourself as a thought leader on Instagram, which I know that Jason does, or on Facebook, or on LinkedIn, or on writing blogs, or even having your own podcast, or having your YouTube channel, right? You can position yourself rather than creating the push effects to create also a pull effect, right? Marketing like, you can either try to go to see people or make people come to you by taking other actions that help them to approach you. So all of this sort of stuff is your organic growth. Then you got, of course, also your funded growth, where you're looking to basically speed up the process, save time, get to certain people quicker, and you're happy to put money into it to make that happen. So you can either go with time of you and your team doing all the organic stuff, or you buy advertising on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, or wherever it might be. You might buy another business because they got systems and processes and IP and even clients that you would like to work with. You could also merge with another business, or you might attract other investors in your business to fund growth. Once again, where are you at now? And is it possible that there's one thing listed on here that right now could really help you go to the next level? It's all about just finding a few things here on this thing as a menu that really speak to you right now that you then execute and do something with. Doesn't have to be everything, because you always want to, of course, keep focus. Here is really important. As you are seeking to grow your business, there's certain key metrics that are essential to measure. And most of the time, it's really interesting when I ask people, are you measuring these things? Very few small businesses aren't measuring this very well. Inbound calls, outbound calls, the number of meetings a week or per day, the number of networking functions you attend, the number of strategy calls, meaning from all the marketing and the thought leadership you're putting out there, that people go through your funnels, through your pipelines, and they're coming out on the other side after having engaged with a lot of automated stuff and pre-recorded stuff. They finally say, you know what, I like what you guys are about, and I want to talk to someone about how you can help me reach my goals. Those strategy calls, right? How many of them a week? How many quotes and proposals are you putting out there? How many presentations are you doing? Because it's a very simple equation. If you want to get to the finish line with a certain metric in terms of money in the bank or business being done, if you engineer it back, it's relating to these core things that are either done or not done well enough. Like, I'll give you an example. Back in the days when I was consulting to big organizations, I had 3 metrics that I measured all the time. And that was 8 meetings a week that I was accountable for. So sitting down with 8 people a week, 2 of which with business referral partners, 6 with new opportunities that could have been with existing clients or other ones for more business. So that was 8 meetings was one key. The other one was 2 networking functions to always cast the net wide and always keep meeting new people. BNI was very helpful in that regard. And then the last one was 2 quotes a week. I knew that if I would hit those 822 every week, that the income for our business was at the level that we wanted it. Now you can then imagine if then also have other people doing the same thing, you can start working out your numbers to achieve your targets by just reverse engineering it. You start with the end in mind and work out what the numbers need to look like on a daily basis in terms of the lead activities to get you there. If you measure it, it gets done. If you make your team accountable and you're checking in weekly, and in terms of, okay, let's see how far we've gotten, you and you, yeah, okay, those are your numbers, and you got it visually in front of you all, and everybody's numbers are clearly next to each other, it creates an interesting dynamic for people to really shape up and put in more of the energy and love and care into the activities that are high growth related, rather than doing other stuff that might be easier and potentially more fun to do instead, right? High performance, of course, is relating to doing the things that really matter and focus on those first, long before anything else. Help your team focus by creating the clarity around what's important, measure it, hold yourself accountable, and report to each other every week on it is probably a very good best practice that I can share with you here. Then, of course, your key metric in terms of the outcome would be either revenue or profit or number of clients or market share or net promoter score or the customer lifetime value that went up by 20%, whatever your metric. Focus on one only, and then figure out what are the key metrics to help you get there and measure those. All right, we've covered a lot of ground, guys, and I'm going to now basically say, you can obviously go through the rest of the documents, But you see here, as of page 13 all through 17, here is where you now basically can write out your answers and start mapping out what you're going to do with this information to take your business to the next level. By zooming in on what matters, saying no to the things that will distract you, because that's important too. Just choose a few things. You know, I sat down once with Tammy Barton, Tammy May from My Budget, big business. And she shared with me openly that anytime in her and her team pick projects that are of high value, that the business sees as really the next things to do, they don't choose more than 3 projects a year, because they know then by that time, everybody's focus, time, energy, and effort goes into each one of them. And that way they get a lot of results fast, rather than trying to do everything. So what are your 1, 2, or 3 things that you could do right now as a result of our time together? This is what these pages will help you spell out. Now, there's a lot of information. Tell me, what did you take out of here that, you know, was a bit of, maybe a bit of a revelation, or that you say like, you know what, I can do something with that? Let us know. And any questions, of course, fire away. We've got a bit more time here.
Metrics. I need to focus on metrics and really sharpen up. I like that 1, 2, 3 win. I wrote down pick 1, 2, 3 and win. So there's so much going on. I think focus is key. And the whole session's great. I've taken notes. I've printed it off. So there's lots to do.
Yes. Well, good news is that you're on top of it, which is what you want. You got potentially now a bit more focus on a few things that is going to help, like the metrics. So great stuff. Like, look, when you measure stuff, you automatically start a little bit of internal competition and drive to do better, because you don't want to go back. You always want to improve from where the metrics are. So it's a good thing to have these metrics and measure it. So great stuff. What about the rest? What have you taken out? And, you know, if you have a question, feel free.
Yeah, I have a question, Bram.
Yep.
So, and we're in a similar business in that people, we do business improvement, and people may be on the journey for a long time with us. And when you talk right at the start about, you know, as our marketing messaging conveying the value that they see, their why, etc. My question to you is thinking about like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We're often biased towards reaching out to our longer term clients, but you see, the thing is, they've been on this journey with us for many years, and I question, is what's being said in their testimonials relevant to a new customer who might be at a completely lower level of the Maslow? You know, they're scratching around and they're desperate. They haven't been with us for 5 years and moving towards this self-actualization abundance. So what do you think about that? I think my problem is I've biased all my testimonials at the longer term people. Maybe I need to actually go and gather some data from people that have maybe only been with me for 6 to 18 months. And what do they see as the value?
Absolutely. Right. Look, you got 2 different groups there, 2 different reasons.
Yeah.
I want to clarify both and put the right ones in front of the right people.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, thank you. And then what I got out of it, one thing, right, as I mentioned in the chat, I've just done a couple of quick actions, like by actions, I mean, delegating to other people, but we actually changed all our scorecard system for tracking KPIs, like more lead indicators, less lead indicators, only 48 hours ago. So you've actually, just at the end there, you've helped validate what we spent some time doing on Mondays to set up, to basically get better data sooner.
Great. Data helps you to make great decisions. Absolutely. So good stuff. Anyone else? Already taken a couple of actions during the call, says Simon here. I got elected with a 30% swing. I'm not sure where that one was coming from, but anyway.
You started talking about politics, Brahma. I think I must be the politician in the group.
Yeah. That's right. You got elected. Well done. Jason and Marcus, in your business, you know, where do you see that you can do something with what we covered?
I think the first thing that sort of I want to clarify in the initial slides when we were talking about which one are we the most.
Yep.
I feel like we try and hit all those nails on the head at once. Like we sort of got to nurture, we sort of got to find more people, You know, we really have to be good at both of those things. It's hard to sort of choose, I don't know which one. And then even with the, you know, I think of myself as really a serial entrepreneur, but also I kind of covered the other two as well. So like I'm always trying to find the next thing, but we're always trying to do, you know, there was so many of them that I thought that I focus on doing all at once. And I'm not sure whether that is probably something that we want to like niche into just one and focus on just that, or whether I want to continue just, like you said, casting the net and just trying to do a bit of everything, you know what I mean?
Interesting point. Okay. Probably other people will be able to relate to that, you know, sometimes thinking that, you know, I'm a bit all over, I'm doing a lot. I personally like simplicity. I like dumbing things down. I like narrowing down on one thing rather than trying to do everything. I think Apple is probably the best example we can give there, as in that the most successful, or one of the most successful, most profitable, most growing companies around the world has had focus on how many products? Only a handful? A handful of products. So we sometimes overcomplicate by trying to do too much. There's a saying that we all know, less is more. What if, for example, one of you guys really loves talking to new people about the opportunity of, you know, doing business with you? That person becomes the first point of call. Then, once they're on board, then another person in your team is more of a nurturer. It's just naturally more them to look after people and guide him and coach him along the journey over time. What if that person then takes over from there? You suddenly start now seeing that rather than trying to have everybody be good at everything, just help people to narrow down and tune in what really plays to their strength, their personal makeup, and a personal preference. Then they become an expert in their field rather than trying to be everything for everyone. That could be one way of looking at it. Right? I see a lot of people that, you know, start systemizing things and assign certain people to certain roles because they just kill it in that role. But if you put them in the other role, they'll do it, but they won't do it with the same love. And they might not even do it with the same finesse because it's not them. That could be an idea to toy around with. What are your thoughts, Marcus?
Yeah, it's pretty similar with what Jace was saying then, because a lot of our roles are quite similar in the business within, like we're all trying to get leads for ourselves as coaches. And sometimes some of us are better at reaching out and some of us are better at, I guess, as you said, nurturing. But we all have our own individual clients. So just what you said, that I was trying to work out maybe a way that maybe some of us could bring them in easier, and then some of them, you know, because we have our own individual clients, like I'm just trying to work out how do we nurture each other's, maybe, you know, within our group, one of us does more of the, you know, showing up and keeping the group and customers, or our current clients busier, and then the others doing sales. Just trying to get my head around that, because we are individually trying to get our own clients, but obviously we want the business to thrive.
Yes.
Tough. That one's tough because we're a subscription-based model, right? So we have to nurture.
Yeah.
People buy into us individually. So one of us individually because they like either our personality, our philosophies. So then we sort of have to hunt our own clients as well. So I feel like we sort of have to be a jack of those two trades, like almost non-negotiable. It's kind of hard to, you know, like people come to us because they like what we're about and they resonate with what we're about. And it's hard because three of us are all so different, right? We've all got our own strengths within what we do. So it's hard for maybe one of us to take over and then sort of palm them off elsewhere, if that makes sense. And you sort of want to have that initial conversation, either chase them or when they come to you, and then nurture them along the way. You know what I mean? Because you can't churn them, you know. So then you are naturally churning a little bit. So you're constantly looking, you know. So I feel like we have to nail that nail on the head, both of them.
Up to you to decide where it's at. Just sometimes you want to zoom out a little bit and just think about like, is this really the best way, or is there maybe a better way? And that's where this is all coming from. So all good. Was there any other thought or question from either Graham or Michael or anyone else? Or Mario?
Look, Bram, this is my general situation. Is I've been building networks for a long time, as you know, and I have a very high level network.
You are.
So I've got I'm sort of drawn at times between the numbers game and the quality, and I've got quality. I've got 4,500 people on LinkedIn, and the thing is, I've got enough with my existing network on LinkedIn.
Yes,
I've got enough. There's enough business opportunities until I'm dead. I can't help myself the habit of, like, I've been adding everyone else on LinkedIn whilst we've been chatting. So I do have a bit of a habit around that. But yeah, that's where I'm stuck. I just need to sit here day by day. I need to do a little bit more LinkedIn training myself, just to use it more effectively. But yeah, I've got enough prospects for more than one lifetime.
So now the question is, when you already have them, how do you now open up the opportunities?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, particularly because I'm doing something else now that's of value still to a lot of the audience that I built when I was doing something else.
That's it. Now look, you definitely got lots of opportunity there, Mr. Ham. So I definitely can see you easily knock it out of the park. But now it's about like, how are you going to reach out? To me, it sounds like a combination for you between thought leadership, where people see you and hear you and can really grow fond of what you represent with your new value proposition. Yeah. Plus, then obviously an opportunity to talk either with a group of people like you're already doing anyway here and there, or one-on-ones. I think that's probably your best combination where you're at.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I found it's quite hard, is actually on LinkedIn, building up the company page as opposed to the personal page.
Yeah.
Particularly, I'm not the founder. And we're trying to get away from, that situation of only the founder can sort of influence the marketplace, at a broader level, and build the company, build the business profile. It's quite a slow burn, sort of very organic process, which I've been chipping away at. But we are making progress. We've got from a sort of early part of December to now, I've added about 200 followers on the company page on LinkedIn, which is quite there's 540 now at this time, which is when I started doing that in about April, May last year, there was 40, so it's got up by 500. But yeah, and now it's starting to pick up the pace. There's followers coming, every day now.
Sounds to me that it might be a good idea to engage someone to work out your content strategy for the company page.
Yeah.
And make them do it so that you guys can focus on your meetings and presentations and closing deals.
Yeah.
And helping clients. Michael, can I just check in with you? Anything that you have taken out of today and that you see in your business that's going to help you?
Yeah, currently I'm short-staffed at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's left, so it's me at the moment looking after nearly. So yes, it's been pretty hard trying to do everything at once within the limited time space that I have, within the 24 hours. So yes, it's just sort of trying to juggle everything. That's my biggest issue at the moment.
Right. Okay. Yeah, definitely. So is it a temporary thing with your staffing, or did you have to downsize or what?
No, it was just wanted to go to a different path.
Okay.
So it was a mutual agreement, which was good. So when he left, I started getting clients, and I'm at the point now saying I can't service them. So 2 or 3 months
Right.
on board. So it's working too many hours.
Jason says hire.
I'm trying to, but you know how hard it is to find somebody. I've been looking for the past 3 months, and I can't.
Yeah.
Willing to.
IT people are scarce now. So yeah, technical profiles are very hard to find and command the premium dollars at the moment. So look, you do what you got to do for the time being, but other than that, let's just say that you passed that. Did you find something that you can do something with, Michael?
I've got to have a sit down and better look.
Okay. Well, you got the resource, guys. Obviously, if you want further assistance with this, just shout out. We're here to help you. And other than that, we've basically done it within 75 minutes, which is what I had set to do. So, mate, I really appreciate your time, guys. This is my first time that I've ever presented this. Normally, I just give people the PDF, but you know how it is. People get it, then they see, 17 pages. I'll do that. I'll get to that sometime. And now I thought, let's just schedule some time, work through it together, and then you can start picking out the things already straight away that will help you in your business, given where you're at and where you want to take it.
Actually, sorry, Bram, I believe there's something on next Wednesday and the one after at the same time. Is that repeats of this same, or is it looking at something different?
So there's different ones. So
Yeah.
There's only one really that is already scheduled, other than an onboarding for new people that are coming into the group.
Okay. So yeah, okay. So the things that are, I saw things looking like they're happening Wednesday at the same time next week and the week after. They're onboardings.
So there is one onboarding, and it says it as such.
Okay.
It's like welcome and orientation.
Yeah,
for
right.
members.
Yep.
And but there's one more specifically for the people that are in the client-facing roles. Call them sales or business development roles. So what we're going to do, I think it's early March on a Wednesday, we're doing basically an hour like this on the 8 core skills that you want to develop to position yourself and come across as, in the eyes of a client, as a trusted advisor, somebody that looks like professional, that they like, they trust, and where they feel good rapport with. What do you need to do for that? Well, we're going to talk about that in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, all right, that's the one I'm going to miss. I'm somewhere else. So, are you planning to record that as well?
Yes,
yeah, great.
Will be
all right,
available
thank
as a
you.
replay.
Thank you.
We'll keep adding more things along business, professional, personal, and financial growth in the free group. So you'll see them under the meetups. So any time when you go in the free group, you have access to all of the classes in there. And so you just basically attend the ones that you like. Cherry pick as you see fit.
Great. Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks. Good call. Cheers. See ya.
Graham, do you got a question? It looks like you put it up again. No. Okay. Cool. Easy. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys joining.
Thanks,
Wish
Bram.
you all the best. Keep us posted. How you going?
Done. Thank you. See you next week.
All right. See you. Ciao.
Cheers. Bye-bye.